Taking the SAT in October, don't walk in without these last hacks that can help you save 50 to 100 points or even more on the SAT. Hi, so today we're going to dive into 5 things or 5 hacks that you must know for the October SAT exam. Let's dive in. So now these hacks are not in any particular order, and to be honest, they are totally up to you in regard to the person you are, your strengths and your weaknesses, but they are in general things that you must look at, okay? All right, so number 1, no particular order, but the first thing you want to do is, a lot of people, they don't want to do this, but it's going to be very important that you focus on your weaknesses, right? And what does this mean? Well, weaknesses. Okay, so what does this mean when we say focus on your weaknesses? Now, a lot of times when we're studying, we want to do the things that we're getting right. We're like, yes, let's focus on this. Let's do it. Let's go. No, do that, but don't neglect, your strengths and focusing on your strengths. But you really have to pay attention to your weaknesses, because that's how you're going to improve your score on the exam. So be sure to focus on your weaknesses so that you can improve those and then also strengthen your strengths. So number 1 is going to be focusing on your weaknesses. All right, so next, what we're going to look at is memorizing formulas and shortcuts. Now, I know there is a formula sheet, right? Let me write it out here. Memorizing formulas and shortcuts. Are you guys, if you're like me, I'm a visual learner, so I like to see things. So if you're anything like me, if you're anything like me, you want to see it outright. And so that's why it's a good thing for me to put it here. But you want to focus or memorize the formulas, right? And when we talk about memorizing formulas and shortcut, a lot of times people are relying, I know there is a formula sheet on the SAT, yes. But the time it takes for you to go in and look at the sheet to try to find the formula that you need, it's going to take out time that you need to really focus on other questions, other parts of the exam. So it's important that you memorize, especially formulas. When I go back to number 1, focusing on your weaknesses, formulas that that you don't know. Like a lot of students forget the volume of sphere, volume for cone, volume for cylinder. Those you need to memorize them if you can, right? And your shortcuts. Do that so that when test day comes, you already have them at your fingertip and you know what's up or what to do. All right, so coming in at number 3, let me share my screen here. There we go. All right, so number 3 is going to go time management. Now, I did a video previously, and this was actually on there, so it's coming back up. Time management. And I really just say here, don't get stuck. Now, I know that typically you want to figure the question out. You want to make sure that you get it. No, on the exam, time is of the essence. So you have to time yourself accordingly, right? Don't get stuck or stay too long on a particular question if you don't know what to do. I've said this before. If you read a question on the exam and you have no idea, if you read it twice, you have no idea what's going on, move on to the next question, flag it so that you can come back to it. Don't not answer, but you want to flag it and come back to it so that if you have enough time, you can do it, but you want to make sure you get a chance to at least browse through the entire exam and get to see what's there, because there may be easier questions that you can do like this, but because you were so stuck on one of the questions, you didn't get to them. So manage your time wisely, utilize that time frame, and do not get stuck. All right, so let's look at the next one. So the next one is going to be number 4. Number 4 is going to be plug and chug. This is a good old one. And this is going to be very helpful for, what is that now? Questions that are multiple choice, right? Because you're going to be able to use the answer choices. Okay. And I think I did a video previously. I did a video where I talked about using now I'm going to see if I can link it above somewhere on the screen. But I talk about plugging and chugging. This is one of the things that a lot of people don't do, or just picking values and plugging that in, or just using your answer choices, right? So they may give you a question that says, hey, a number times, 3 consecutive numbers are, their product is something, right? What is a smaller number? And you have the number choices listed. What can you do? Pick each number, write them in consecutive order in 3s, do the product, and see if you get the answer that they're talking about, right? So use your answer choices if you're in doubt and you have a question where you actually have the answer choices that are at your disposal that you can use. So plug in values. And so that's, a lot of times plug in 1, plug in 2, plug in 3, plug in values. X is a number, blah, 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 plug in a value for X. Right? That's what we mean when we say plug and chug. And then also, if your answer choices are there, use backwards solving and see if you can get the answer. And I always say, specifically, if your answer choices are in numeric order, meaning from smallest to largest or largest to smallest, I strongly suggest starting with your answer choice C. Because if you start with your answer choice C, you plug C in, and let's say the value you had was, let's say 10. But when you plug C in, you got a value of 8. Well, 8 is too small. So you already have eliminated A and B, because if the value that you used in C made the answer too small, then you've automatically guessed correctly, it's D, right? And vice versa, if the number is too big, then you know that D is eliminated and it's either A or B. So you want to use these little nuances so that you're able to get the answers quickly, because time is of the essence. All right. And so I'll stop real quick here. If you're new to the channel, this is your first time here on this channel, my sole aim is to bridge the wealth gap. And one of the ways that I do that is by sharing tips on how to score extremely high on the SAT, because when you score really good, you have a really good chance of getting scholarships for college. And that's one way to bridge the wealth gap, because you graduate debt-free. And so graduating debt-free puts you in a different income class than those of us who graduated with debt. Okay, so share this video, like, and subscribe so that you can hear all of the nuances that we're doing on this channel. So let's look at the last one, number 5. Now, number 5, and this one, I guess it can be the last one for real, number 5, because most students don't get this opportunity. But for number 5, what I will say is you want to review your work. You would be surprised. There are many students who, okay, so they'll be like, oh, I'm done. And then they just sit there, or they move on to the next, section, or whatever the case may be, right? No, wrong. If you have time, if it's even a minute, review your work, because you'd be surprised what you can catch. Because sometimes you're crunched for time, your brain is right, speeding, and so you're like, okay, oh, I read that wrong, right? That's one of the biggest mistakes that students do. So you want to make sure you review your work, look at your scratch paper, review the answer choices, review what you did, if you have time, to make sure that you have the questions correct. Because you'll be surprised, there are students who, when they do that, they catch even 2 questions. And 2 questions, especially on the first section, means a lot in module 1 for your exam, because if dependent on how well you do on module 1, you can only unlock a certain level for module 2. So you want to make sure you do your best on module 1. And so make sure you're reviewing your work. So let's do a quick recap here. right? Let's do a quick recap. So number one, you want to focus on your weaknesses. And of course, these aren't in any particular order. I'm just telling you what they are. So the top 5 things that you need to watch out for if you're doing the October exam. Number one, focus on your weaknesses, right? Number 2, memorize formulas and shortcuts. Number 3, time management. So don't get stuck on one question. Move on if you need to. Number 4, plug and chug. Plug in values, right? Or use the answer choices to back solve and get your answer that way. And number 5, review your work. If you have time, don't just move on and skip or go to the next section. Review your work so that you can catch any mistakes or errors. All right. So I hope you found this video helpful. Until next time, see you.